It's a 43-pin win over Gary Jeffrey. And in the next match, we've got another South Australian, young Jim Hind, taking on Terry Wenban. Jim's record as a three-time South Australian team member speaks for itself. He's a very good player down there, but he's got a tough nut to crack in Terry Wenban. This will be a very good match.
Starting us off in this match, the 1981 South Pacific champion, Terry Wenban.
Oh, what a good start for Terry. As I pointed out, he's very experienced, a worldly wise bowler, Terry Wenban, and that's a good opening for him. Kept right behind the ball, right in the pocket. First time we've seen the young South Australian bowler, Jim Hind, and what an exciting player, Dana.
Yes, this is one of the first times I've seen Jim Hind, and he really accelerates through the ball. This will be a good match. Both the bowlers have a similar line, very direct, down with the boards and let the ball break on the last minute. It'll be an interesting match, this one.
Well, it's a key match for Jim Hind. He's 24 pins out of 4th place and about 47 pins away from 3rd. He needs a big game now to try and force his way into the semi-final playoff. Oh, violent pin action for Terry Wenban, but again, we've seen him leave the 10-pin.
That was a good shot by Terry. The ball, we've watched here on 21. See, the ball just doesn't make it cut through the pocket. Leaves the 6-pin lying on the channel by the 10. The 21 has proven to be a little bit tighter than 22.
Well, Terry Wenban shooting way across lane for the 10-pin, and we had a good back view of him then doing that. Jim Hind now taking stock of the situation. The bowlers have a bit of a ritual. They put a bit of rosin on their hand, then they brush it over the bowling ball. And well worth the effort he went to get that strike.
That was a good shot by Jim. He gets it way out on the lane and really accelerates through it, and just does to get the 10-pin out. Stays behind the ball nicely. There's a good camera shot of this shot.
As you can see all the ball tracks in the lane too off that shot. It's interesting to see how the ball's going down the lanes. Terry Wenban now has not missed the pocket on this lane. We saw him bowl 225 a few matches ago, and again he's had 3 good hits with a strike, and then a 10-pin on the second frame, and then another one right in the pocket. Stays well behind it, Dana, when he gets up to the foul line.
He does, and he's got the perfect ball roll. It's spin, roll, and then hook. There again, this lane has proven to be a bit tighter. He didn't get quite the lift on it that he needed, and he's left the 2-5, which is a rather difficult spare.
Yes, and by tighter, Dana means there that it hasn't got quite the turn at the far end. It's got a little bit more oil on it, perhaps. And the ball doesn't take as easily. And, of course, that ball that he's bowling with is highly shined. Highly shined.
He's chosen to go outside, way out from the outer angle, and go very direct at the pocket, which was a good choice.
Well, he's had the highest average of his life this week in this South Pacific Classic tournament. Jim Hind, one of a number of players averaging well over 210 for the 30-plus games they've bowled so far. Terry Wenban with a very shined-up ultra angle bowling ball. Oh, he's bowling so well, not getting too many breaks.
This is a great shot here by Terry. He stays down with it, stays with the shot, perfect.
Jim Hind now. Oh, right in the hole for Jim Hind. He's talking about the averages of some of the bowlers in the 6 matches that have been bowled in this last period of time. Rob Zickman averaging 235, Mark Ramsay 227, and Tom Kury 223. You don't get much more brilliance than that, and of course Jim Hind only just behind that in the 2 teens. Total concentration on key shots has Terry Wenban. It's a very good object lesson there, Dana.
It's terrific. You can see the concentration in his face. He keeps his head down, keeps his eye on the mark, and then eventually looks up when it's well out of his hand. It's a good training tip for those people out there learning how to bowl.
Well, we're sure there's quite a lot of people in the clubs and the hotels that do bowl in leagues in the AMF centres around the country. If you're one of them, well, just keep on practice and you might become good enough to bowl in the South Pacific Classic or one of the other tournaments we run in our AMF centres around the nation.
Jim just got a little bit in a hurry this time and pulled the shot. He knows it. The reaction on his face shows it. And he's not out of this match yet.
Well, he's a young player and he's got a long learning road ahead of him. It's wonderful to see the younger players coming up through the ranks of juniors and then entering the senior divisions. 88 for Jim Hind in the 4th frame. Terry Wenban at the moment is 70 in the 3rd. Could be as much as 100. So this to take a 20-odd pin lead. Terry Wenban looking for 4 strikes. That 6 pin again, falling the wrong way. It fell forward instead of backwards, and that's a sign of a ball that's finishing very strongly, but just pushing the pin the wrong way.
Terry got that shot a little bit further out near the gutter than he had previously.
Let's see what Jim Hind does. Oh, he's dragging it now, a little bit of pressure. He knows the situation. He needed a big game against Wenban, and Wenban's taken the initiative from the youngster. .119 plays 106 in the 5th frame. Well done. Yes, well done. That was a shot like you could bowl, Ken.
I would like to think so. I'm not sure that I could, Steve, but I'd like to think so.
About 15 or 20 seconds on the approach to collect your thoughts. That's the maximum allowable, and sometimes on key shots Terry's told me that he takes as much time as he can to collect the brain into gear, and boy, you don't hit the pocket much better than that.
Great shot again here by Terry. He's just really lined in. His concentration, he knows that Jim Hind is under a tremendous amount of pressure, and he's taking advantage. That's where experience plays over youth.
Well, a pretty good comeback by a young man from South Australia. 126 in the 6th frame, plays 139. 13 pins the difference, and I might just add that alongside us here in some of these 18 matches, we've got a key match going on between the Queenslander Tom Kury there, just passing back off your screen, and he needs to win that match too to stay ahead of Jim Hind. So those two will be looking at each other. And that's going to jump high for Terry. Well, that's the only poor shot we've seen him bowl in this coverage on Sky. Every other time he's hit the pocket, but that time he seemed to get out of the ball like it was a hot potato.
Yes, he got out of it quick and just got around it a little bit early, and as you can see, these you really have to execute well. They make it look very easy, and it is not easy.
Oh, good comeback by Jim Hind. All the people in Adelaide will be very pleased with that for their charge in this match. Oh, yes, he could feel it. And spare coverage for Terry Wenban, so we've got a very close match now, 159 in the 7th frame. Jim Hind needs a strike to take the lead by about 6 or 7 pins. And boy, have a look at the towel he's got there. It's certainly helping to keep that ball polished up and shiny, and then he cleans the feet off, and then he puts his hand over the hand dryer. They go through quite a ritual, these players. And there it is again, the arch enemy of right-handed bowlers, particularly the 10 pin. Look at this, it looks so good going there.
Steve, during the course of our coverage, we've talked a lot about different techniques. Is there a coaching program in place for bowlers throughout the country?
Yes, there is coaching, and Terry Wenban was a product of that a long time ago now, when he was just coming out of the junior ranks, and the Australian 10-pin Bowling Congress and AMF have got together to bring out an American coach each year, and Dana and a few other Americans that have visited us give us some individual coaching. There is a very good junior program, and Jim Hind is one of the products of that initiative of the last few years. But down at the local AMF Bowling Centre, well, if there's anyone out there that would like to go and have a game for the first time, they just need to make a lane booking, tell the people that they speak to that they're newcomers, and I'm sure they'll get all the help they need. Terry Wenban needs a little bit of help now. He needs a strike to just about shut the gate on Jim Hind and put Hind out of business in his semi-final quest. Well, that's left the door open.
Sure has. Jim's got the ball game in his hands, so to speak, and he just needs to put a couple together. Let's see if he can execute under the pressure.
Deep breath. Oh, can he execute? Yes, what a great shot that was. It's always exciting to see a player come through when the pressure's on.
He's still got to have another one to beat Terry.
Yes, that was an experienced spare there by Terry Wenban. And Wenban shooting at a 2:19 pace. At the moment, Jim Hind shooting at a 2:15 pace after that spare by Wenban. And Hind needs one more strike to get into the 220s and beat Wenban. So this will be a great comeback by him.
Looks good.
Oh, yes. Good shot. Very good shot. That's exciting, isn't it?
Terrific shot. He did exactly what he should do. Right here, he gets through it, keeps it light, gives it a chance, blows the rack 5, hits the 7.
Yes, and a great game again by Terry Wenban there, 2:19, living off 3 strikes earlier in the game. But it won't be enough, because Jim Hind only needs 5 to win, and that should be a formality. Of course, one of the things he doesn't want to do now is go across that black line. A lot of the people watching may do that, and it still scores, but if he does it in a tournament, the score counts for 0. He's got to stay behind the line and keep the ball on the lane. He's done that. A good victory then to Jim Hind, 224 to 219, one of the closest matches we've seen, and a very exciting finish by the youngster.
Jim Hind with 224, giving him a 5-pin win over Terry Wenban in what was a very close-fought match, but just 5 pins in it at the end of the day.
What a good game, a good win by Jim Hind there. 5 pins the difference for the youngster from South Australia over the very experienced Terry Wenban. In the next match, though, we've got Mark Ramsay, who we've seen twice already, 268 and 235. Will it be another big game? And his opponent is Tom Kury, who has to win this game to try and force his way into the semi-finals. Tom's record includes the 1987 Gold Pin Coca-Cola Classic, 3rd place in the British Open in 1988, and he's been an Australian and state representative for West Australia and Queensland on numerous occasions. A big match coming up.
This match starts off with a young man who's become something of a regular in our programs from Queensland, Mark Ramsay.
Yes, and Mark's bowled very well, and he's had plenty of those, although that was a little wayward. He got away with it. strike to open up, and his opponent is fellow Queenslander, the Queensland team captain, former Australian Bowler of the Year, Tom Kury. And I might say, Dana, you've seen Tom bowl before, a grittier competitor the game's never seen.
He's very determined. You can see it in his face. He's one of the best at hanging in there. He may not throw the most awesome ball or have the most revolutions, but he definitely has one of the biggest hearts.
Yes, he was dropped from the Australian team last time they went overseas, and he's come back firing on all cylinders. It was actually just the motivation he needed to continue to try and improve in the game, even though he's been around it for about 20 years. Ramsay looks awesome though, doesn't he?
He sure does. I watched him bowl earlier on this same pair, and he switched to a different line and a different ball. He gets that one way out and gets through it nicely. Good result.
We've certainly seen Mark put in some strong performances on these programs since we've been going to air, and he's looking as though he's got a great future in front of him. Oh, Tom's done it.
But look at Tom Kury, just keeps on hanging in there, and gee, well, these two know each other's games pretty well, and Mark knows the potential of Tom Kury. Look at this. Light hit. Kicks that 5-pin out, the last one to fall down. Well, Mark Ramsay and Tom Kury, both with doubles working. Top of the third for Ramsay. Ramsay in second place in the tournament at the moment. Tom Kury 50 pins out of it, and Jim Hind only just behind him. Good start and a good crowd support here for Ramsay. I'm sure he's gained quite a following, Ken, in the clubs around Australia with his brilliant performances, a 260 and a 230 odd game.
Yes, and it's going to be very interesting just to see, well, who wilts a little under the pressure first at this stage. Going to be Tom.
Yes, it was. That ball just refused to move when it got down towards that point just a moment ago, and then, oh, look at that. That's a tough spare too.
It's a very tough spare. Long ways to go yet in this match, and Tom is an excellent spare shooter, which has kept him in many finals and winning many titles. I think people underestimate the value of spares.
Done it well.
Tom didn't underestimate that. He knew that he needed it. He's got 26 in the first frame, 46 in the second frame now that spare's been pushed over by his body English. And Mark Ramsay, well, Mark seems in pretty much of a world of his own. He's just trying to retain composure and keep his confidence level up. Of course, in third place in the tournament is the defending champion Ian Bradford, and he's just off to our left, and he started with 4 strokes in a row. And the reason I say that is that Tom Kury needs to catch up 50 pins to force his way into the final playoff, and Mark Ramsay's making it extremely difficult for him. The bowlers get 20 bonus pins added on to their pinfall score for each game they win, and of course if he doesn't get that 20, that puts him virtually 70 behind Ian Bradford and out of business, I would think. Still alive as long as he keeps on doing that though. That's a great strike in the fourth frame for Tom Kury. 66 in the third frame, plays a potential of 90.
Terrific shot here by Tom. He goes very direct at the pocket and gets very little ball deflection. And you notice the pins, instead of staying on the deck, they go 10 in the pit.
Dana, we've seen some pretty high averages here. How would you compare the standard of Australian competition with that in the United States?
Oh, it's terrific. A lot of people ask me that, and I find that Australia is every bit as tough, and perhaps the bowlers are better at staying in there longer because they bowl more games in the course of a tournament.
Well, that's given Tom a little bit of breathing space, but he's got to capitalize on it now. He's got a strike working, and Ramsay's finished his string of strikes at 4 in a row, and then that single pin standing there, the 6-pin. So Tom Kury now with a chance. good ball, Tom Kury. You needed that, son, and you got it.
Really works the body, doesn't he?
Sure does. This was a great shot. 5 just rips the rack. Gets that 7-pin out of there.
Well, now he's got Mark Ramsay under the gun. One more strike by Tom Kury, and there's only 3 pins the difference in it. And Kury calling on all of his years of experience. He won the tournament in 1978. He had a big year in 1984 when he was the Australian Bowler of the Year. He's been an Australian team captain. Won a host of tournaments in New South Wales and Queensland, and he's also won some in Victoria. One more strike to be just a couple of pins behind. Yes, Tom. He loved it. And good sportsmanship between these two teammates, both representing Queensland later this year in the National Championships here in Sydney. And all the people out there at the clubs watching a great performance here by Tom Kury, trying to force his way into the semi-finals of the Silver Anniversary South Pacific Classic here at AMF's Bankstown Bowl. Oh, now see the pressure that's been applied by the experienced Tom Kury, and that's tied the game up. Not a pin in it at the moment, and of course Tom Kury got 3 strikes working. He's in the box seat, Dana.
Yes, he is, and Mark Ramsay will have to spare this up and continue his quest to remain in the 2nd position. He throws a terrific ball. He just got that one a little bit inside of his mark. He definitely needs to cover this spare to stay in the match.
Yes, he hasn't had to go for too many spares in our TV games. He's had a 268, which had about 9 strikes in it. And he had a 235 against the tournament leader, Rob Zickman, a little while back, and that had a heap of strikes in it as well. Oh, good shot. Well, this is an impressive performance by Tom. Mark Ramsay just trying to gee himself up here for a bit of an effort now that he's in arrears all of a sudden. The first time that he's been in that position in a televised game. And he's responded beautifully.
That was a better shot there by Mark. He gets it out to the left, out by the first arrow, stays with it, gets it on. Good result. Just does get the 8-10 out.
Yes, it would have been cruel to leave a pin then. And look at this wonderful shot here that we're seeing of that strike again. Oh, Tom, not a good shot. Still, he's ahead by 8 pins. Let's have a look at it. Jagged it high, pulled it left under pressure.
He's quite disappointed with that shot. One thing you don't mind doing is coming off a string of strikes with a good shot. You're very frustrated when you come off with a poor shot.
Twice in a row now. Mark Ramsay's gone high on that lane, and he's just wondering where his timing's off. Maybe just a little bit in the push away. He might be getting a bit eager. Talking to himself. Tom Kury's got a difficult 2 here. Yes, Tom. Spare for him to retain that 8-pin lead.
And couldn't have done it better.
Both of them showing the value of some years of practice there, obviously, at not only strikes but getting spares as well, as both of them covered a couple of difficult ones there. 8 pins the difference, 166 for Mark Ramsay, but Tom Kury's the next man up, 174. And Tom keeping an eye on the score of Ian Bradford a couple of lanes away. He should concentrate on his own game. Looks like he's done that. Oh, good break for Tom. With a wry smile comes to his face there as he thinks his lucky stars that that 7-pin just went. 93 in the 8th. Mark Ramsay can close the gap to just 7 with a strike in the 9th, and that would give him a good foundation for a strikeout in the 10th and put Kury out of business. It's interesting, Danner. He's had 3 shots this game where he's pulled the ball a little bit high.
Yeah, he's just overturning it a bit. He's coming around the ball early instead of staying behind it, sending the ball long. He's gotten good breaks to have no split so far.
Yes, 9 pins still the difference. 193 to 184. But Mark Ramsay's got these 2 in the corner, and he's moved right on the approach and shoot a cross lane at it. Got a conventional sort of way to go for these 2 pins. A harder variety of bowling ball. Well, Tom Kury, the best he can do is 243. That's a pretty good finish, but he's got to get these 3 strikes to do that.
Best shots Tom has thrown, and that's why in bowling you're just never sure what's going to happen. That's a terrific ball. You see the 6 just fly right around that 10. Great shot by Tom.
Yes, and I can suggest that he wasn't bowing in prayer then. Mark Ramsay.
Better shot.
Oh. Better shot. That's an understatement. 204 with that strike.
There, that one he stayed behind longer, and he knew it. And he knew that was a good shot. Tom needs a spare.
Well, Tom Kury's shooting at a 232 pace, and Mark Ramsay needs a strike and 9 to shoot 233. We have an excellent match here. What fantastic games we've seen in our Sky coverage, and of course we'll be seeing you shortly, Danner, in the final matches of the women's division. He needed that one to win, and he gave it every chance.
It's a good shot. He was hopeful, just a bit high.
So a gritty effort there by Tom Kury. He's hung in there for 229. A win by probably 5 pins. We'll assume that Mark Ramsay spares this single 6-pin. And Tom Kury's 229. Well, will it be enough to make the semi-finals? We're not sure. It's close here in the South Pacific Classic. What a good game we've seen there.
In what was a battle